The Last Ride of Red Hawk. The year was 1872, deep in the untamed frontier of the Wyoming Territory. The vast plains stretched for miles, dotted with herds of wild buffalo, rocky outcroppings, and rivers that ran silver under the setting sun. It was a land of opportunity, lawlessness, and conflict between settlers, outlaws, and native tribes. Riding fast across the rugged terrain was Jed Silver Carson, a former Texas Ranger turned bounty hunter, his six-shooter strapped to his hip and his rifle slung across his back. He had spent the last decade tracking the worst outlaws across the frontier, but his latest job was the most dangerous yet, a mission that would pit him against men on both sides of the law. The Red Hawk and the Stolen Gold. A week earlier, Carson had arrived in the town of Dead Creek, a dusty, sun-baked place where lawmen were few and outlaws ruled the saloons. Sheriff McCall had given him a name, Red Hawk, a feared warrior of the Cheyenne Nation. He and his men hit a wagon train last week, made off with 40 bars of Union gold. The army wants it back. If you find him, bring him in. Carson had hunted plenty of men, but something about this job didn't sit right. The Cheyenne weren't known for robbing gold shipments. They fought for their land, their people, their freedom. Something wasn't adding up. After days of tracking, Carson finally found the remains of the attacked wagon train, with arrows scattered around it. But as he kneeled to examine the tracks, a rifle cocked behind him. You're following the wrong trail, bounty hunter. Carson turned slowly to see Red Hawk himself, standing tall with his face painted for battle, but his eyes full of something other than bloodlust and determination. The gold was not taken by my people. It was stolen by men dressed as Cheyenne warriors. We were framed. Carson studied the warrior's face. He had tracked enough criminals to know when a man was lying. Red Hawk wasn't. So who took it? Men with no honor, outlaws who work for your Sheriff McCall. Realization hit Carson like a bullet. The gold was never about the Cheyenne, it was an excuse. The army wanted a reason to push the native tribes further off their land, and McCall was happy to provide it. They will come for my people soon, unless we stop them. Carson nodded. For the first time in years, he wasn't just hunting for money, he was fighting for justice. The two men set off through the wilderness, covering dangerous terrain where both natural threats and human enemies lurked. The ride was treacherous, and as the sun set over the horizon, they found themselves ambushed by a group of gunmen hidden among the boulders. Bullets whizzed past Carson's head as he dove for cover. Red Hawk, swift as ever, flanked the attackers, his tomahawk flying through the air and sinking into the chest of one outlaw. Carson drew his revolver, firing off 2 quick shots, felling another man. The remaining gunmen scattered, disappearing into the darkness. These men weren't just thieves, they were hired to stop us. McCall will stop at nothing to keep his secret. As they neared Red Canyon, they encountered a desperate settler named Eli Graves, whose family had been taken hostage by McCall's men. Graves revealed that McCall planned to use the gold to buy weapons and recruit mercenaries, making himself the most powerful force in the territory. With no time to lose, Carson and Red Hawk devised a plan. They would strike the outlaw camp before McCall could make his move. The stakes were higher than ever. Not just gold, but the fate of the entire region rested on their success. That night, Carson and Red Hawk rode together, tracking McCall's men to a hidden outlaw camp in the Red Canyon. A gang of 20 ruthless men sat around a fire, drinking whiskey, laughing over their stolen gold. Carson and Red Hawk struck at dawn. Carson's rifle cracked like thunder, dropping 2 men before the rest could react. Red Hawk, swift as the wind, moved through the camp with deadly precision, his tomahawk flashing in the morning sun. The outlaws scrambled for cover, but they were no match for the bounty hunter and the warrior. The battle raged for nearly an hour. Carson found himself in a brutal hand-to-hand fight with McCall, the 2 men trading blows amidst the chaos. McCall was strong, but Carson was faster, landing a final punch that sent the corrupt sheriff sprawling. Your reign is over. You really think this ends here? But before he could draw his weapon, an arrow whistled through the air, striking McCall in the chest. Red Hawk lowered his bow. With McCall dead and his men either captured or scattered, the stolen gold was returned, and the truth about the frame job would soon reach the army. You ride with honor, Silver Carson. The land remembers men like you. And men like you? Carson said. As the sun rose over the frontier, the 2 warriors, one of the old world, one of the new, rode off in opposite directions, one towards justice, the other towards freedom. Months later, rumors spread through saloons and trading posts of a bounty hunter who had turned against corruption, and of a Cheyenne warrior who had saved his people from war. Some claimed Red Hawk disappeared into the mountains, living among the spirits of his ancestors. Others whispered that Carson had left bounty hunting behind, becoming a guardian of those who had no voice. But in the wild lands of the frontier, legends never die. The last ride of Red Hawk would be told for generations, a story of 2 men who defied the odds, not just for gold, but for honor. Thank you for watching. If you like this story, consider to like and subscribe for a new story every week.